The youth of the nation.
Everything's squared away. Okay. I'm ready. Oh, we're back to the warehouse. Such an asshole. Back to warehouse. We're back to the warehouse for Floorball 2. Nikki scores, but Reagan is a monster. Let's talk Floorball. Welcome to the Blitzball Boys, a podcast about ball sports in the floor house, but lately about floorball. I'm your co-host, Brendan Ruppel, along with my fellow host, Peter Del Rey.
Hey, Brendan. This is 2 episodes in a row you got me with that. Oh, my goodness. It would just make sense if you did the ball sports in the warehouse because floorball's a ball sport.
No.
But...
Yeah. I am what I am.
How
you get away?
This was the chippiest game we've seen yet. I legitimately thought a full-on fight was going to break out.
I liked it. It was good.
I
Rose loved it,
liked
too.
it a lot.
Rose is getting
But
hyped.
I really thought that, Jesse was going to start, fist fighting with Reagan.
Yeah. I mean, I think
they were getting
Paxton
really
into
into
it.
it.
She's like, this is the first, non-jovial set of interviews I've done in the warehouse.
It was
That's
kind
good.
of
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
We saw the evolution of Nikki from that opening shootout shot that Nikki took was quite possibly the weakest shot that we've seen in the entire tournament.
Just like, here you go, here's the ball.
Followed up by the end where he was absolutely ripping shots from midfield.
They really pulled a red herring on us in the beginning of the edit where Pavel Barber was like, Nikki's been taking shots on an empty net all afternoon long and has not hit one yet. And it just cuts to him missing wide. It's very funny.
It was great, though. This game was awesome. I really, really loved it.
Yeah, we talked
got
a little bit
ice.
off mic how we were not that we weren't excited for this one in particular, but we thought it would be more of a blowout and
Right.
close, good game.
It was less of a blowout. More
Yeah.
of a game.
More of a game.
So let's just get into the boing, Brendan.
Let's get into the boing.
Bad to the boing.
Oh, that's good.
Thanks.
It's the Chickens versus the Goats in the penultimate game of the regular season. After a scoreless first, we get to the second, feeling like We Got Ice has full control of the game. When Reagan snips one just a hair past the defender, sticks it to the Barber. We Got Ice connects on Pavel play to make it 1-0. Reagan continues to show no signs of rust as she rips a hard shot into the net to double the lead. It looks like it may just be an easy win before Nikki gets tricky and ricochets one off Zoe's stick, and then Jack's hand to cut the lead in half. A huge moment for Lovey's late when Sarah gets a penalty shot opportunity, but much like my pediatrician, she mishandles the ball and doesn't get a shot off. That ends up being their last chance to tie it up because Reagan wastes time better than someone watching The Big Bang Theory. We Got Ice wins 2-1.
Wow. Just taking a shot at all parents everywhere.
Pretty much.
I
can't
so,
stand that
Brendan, some notes. Way better than your McAllister disaster.
McAllister Desalmster.
way better than the McAllister disaster.
That was a tough day in general. One, it was a bad joke to start, and I knew it was not going to go over well. So the only way I could salvage it is if I nailed the enunciation. And after the third burn, I was like, here we go. You start to see the avalanche coming towards you.
The first time, here's a little behind the curtains for everyone who's listening. The first time that we experimented, or the first time we put out a episode with a burn in it, Brendan fucked it up so royally.
I think there's a couple of times in the early days
that he went back after the record and re-recorded the burn and put it into the episode. It's seamless and you could never tell, but my God, Brendan fucked it up so badly during the
I think there's even
episode.
a couple of times where I just you know what? I'm just going to restart it right now, and I would just leave that in even.
Yeah.
Now
exactly.
I don't do either
Not
of
that
those
one
things.
time.
And now if I fuck it up, you just get what you get.
This one was great. This might be your best burn of all time.
Wow. You know what?
Yeah.
I think last week was like playing with a donut on the bat because I had to do 4 in a short period of time after being away for a while. And now this was like, oh, I get to do just one and focus on that one alone and spend some time with it. Let's rip it.
I mean,
it was fun. It was fun to talk about.
It was very good. It was very good. And it feels so nice that we don't have to cover 4 games today.
Yes.
But I digress. This game, as Brendan said, was full of action. You'd never guess it from the first period. You know, it starts with Lovey's getting the power play, and you kind of think to yourself, like, ooh, this is what they needed. Like, we know We Got Ice is good. We know, we talked about this last episode, how we think that Reagan has the potential to be the bar none best player in this entire tournament. And spoiler alert, in this game, she really proved it. She was fucking nuts.
Yeah, she was obviously the best player on the court. I still don't know what to call it. 'Cause
God.
even Pavel Barber was like, I keep calling it ice. I don't know. I keep calling it court,
Ice, a
field,
court.
whatever. Ice.
Court is a cul-de-sac on Long Island. When I went,
That's
when
that's not the
I
only place
moved,
that's called a cul-de-sac, a court?
well, I mean, it's all called a court. Like, you know, a cul-de-sac is usually like whatever Carpenter Court or
Yeah,
Donna
yeah.
Court, right? So Long Island is the only place when I moved there, and people were like, "Oh yeah, down on the court." I was like, "What the fuck are you talking about? You guys don't call it a cul-de-sac down here?" And they were like, "No, only fucking weirdos do that." I said, "The whole world does."
I think I've always called it a cul-de-sac because I grew up watching it at Nettie.
Right? Me too.
Yeah.
But everybody on Long Island was like, "Nope, it's called a court. Called a court. Called a court." More for the Long Island lore
Yes.
of it's on Long Island, not in Long Island.
I
and
didn't
then
even know that was a
everything's
thing
court.
either. I'm just from here. I
Yep,
just say
you're
what we
learning
say.
a lot.
Yeah.
You learn a lot. You
Everyone
learn
I
about
know
the
is from
things
here,
that
so we
I've
just all
never-
say the same shit.
You learn that I've never experienced a lot of things,
Yeah.
and now you learn that Long Island's a weird place. But they really get it. They really get lucky with that. But you know, DZ starts in the box. They get their 30-second power play, and it's like, oh, Zoe and Reagan are out here. They're the two strongest players on We Got Ice.
Yeah, and again, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, but it continues to surprise me. Maybe because he looked even better this week, but Zoe's got a really good passing game, and I think it's good that he has that because he knows that he has such a strong shooter in Reagan and someone who can control the ball really well. But his passing was awesome all game.
Yeah, it was really, really good. He was doing great. He was playing really well off Reagan. Reagan seems to be getting into that's the wrong way to put it. Reagan seems to what did she say the last game? She needed to get used to the weight of the ball, right?
Right, get a better touch on
She
it.
seems to have her shots today were crazy. She seems to
Yeah,
have
of course, it
gotten
only
used
takes
to
her
the
one
weight of the
game
ball.
to get used to it. Just like, I just need one more try.
She's a pro.
Yeah.
Then you see what we talked about last time, where we were saying, hey, I think Nick and Jesse should switch, and Nikki should be more of a defenseman, Jesse should be more of an attacker. And you see that, and I think Lovia's did a little bit better on the attack today, especially in the first
Yeah.
period. You see that. Nikki, I mean, correct, like, tell me if you don't agree, but Nikki seemed like he had so much less confidence than we've ever seen Nikki have in the warehouse
Yeah.
in like these first two periods.
Yeah, the broadcast booth too kind of touched on that a little bit. We're like, if you're Nikki right now, you're getting so frustrated and you just want to be good. Look, he
Right.
gets that goal. I think they also talked about how excited he would be if he gets a goal because he wants it so badly. Nikki's just not used to wanting something so badly and not being able to get it because he is naturally athletic.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he looks a
And,
little bit better today, though. But even minus, like, put the goal aside because it wasn't like a great goal. The fact that he's able to get a shot on goal from that far away in general is a good sign for him.
Yeah. But I mean, that's later, Brendan.
Yeah.
For now in the first, it's like, you know, during this power play, I was like, oh, Lovia's looks like they're finally putting it together. They're not having this log jam at the front that we were talking about last time. And then the power play ends, and it's all We Got Ice, you know? And
Yeah. Like I said, I think I said,
Reagan-
too, like, even in that first period, nothing really happened, but it still looked
Right.
like We Got Ice won that period.
We Got Ice won the period for sure. Reagan and Zoe were tearing up the Lovia's defense.
Getting a lot
Dalton
of
was
good
coming up
looks.
huge.
There's a couple
Huh?
a couple of great looks that were like just beautiful crosses to great shot opportunities. And sometimes they don't
It
fall,
was-
but the fact that they were showing that they have a good game plan and they're looking crisp was a good sign for the rest of the
Right.
game.
Lovia's called for the Pavel play with 47 seconds left in the first, and I was like, what a good call here, because you get your full Pavel play. You don't have to worry about them coming back and doing the Pavel play right back out to
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
because you're going to be, you know, tired from running around all this, and you have 17 seconds to like get them to cool off after
Yeah.
the Pavel play.
That's exactly what Dalton said to Paxton too. Like, if we go up 1-0 going into the second period, we feel great too.
Yeah. And then you have We Got Ice kills it very well. The Pavel play.
They had to kill a couple power plays in this game.
Big talking point that I wanted to bring up was Jesse and how he played, because during the Pavel play, there was a moment, and they really harped on this on the broadcast. There was a moment where Jesse took a shot when he was relatively close to goal on kind of a tight angle, but like right behind him at the point was Pavel,
So,
completely
hey,
unmarked.
Yeah.
Yeah, hitting the
slamming
ground
his
completely
dick, yeah.
unmarked. And like, not to get too into it for later on, but throughout the whole game, this seems to be a theme where Jesse, it seemed as though, kind of felt that Lovia's success was on him and him alone, because you saw him go up there and try to force these shots or take these shots where it maybe isn't the best decision, because either Nikki is free or Sarah is free, but
Yeah.
he's up there just like, there's so many times where like they were on a fast break and he took a shot early.
Right.
And, like we talked about last episode, get as many shots off as you can, because one of them is bound to go in, as we see later on.
Right.
But it almost felt as though his rushing was a bit of a detriment to Lovia's.
Yeah.
And to be fair, after the first game, if I'm the designated hockey guy on the team, I would probably
You
for sure
understand
do
that.
the same exact thing.
Right. But
I
then you
would
need
do
to
the
take a
same
step back
exact
and
thing.
understand that, sure, you want to take as many shots as you can, but at the same time,
Yeah.
if you have an opportunity to get a little bit better of a look, then that same shot has a higher percentage of going in, obviously. And it's
Right.
easier said than done, obviously. When
Right.
you're in the moment, everything's happening so fast, and every shot you take is probably looks a lot better than it's going to be because you're so close. But with such a small court or ice, it's just so clogged and jammed up there. There's so many bodies and so many things that the ball can hit off of before it gets to the net. So
Yeah.
even a good-looking shot might not be as good as you think. It's just so many ways to ricochet.
Right. I mean, like, I get it. I do. The big miss, the big talking point is obviously he could have had that back pass to an completely
Yeah.
free Pavel.
Yeah. Which is, I
but
don't want
hey,
to say
it's
it's an
over.
automatic goal, but it's the best opportunity they would have had all game at a goal.
Yeah. And also, to be completely fair, Pavel was behind Jesse. Jesse didn't see him.
Yeah.
But
It's loud in there, too.
It's loud in there.
Yeah.
But it is going to go down as a missed opportunity
For sure.
for whatever reason. Sarah and Zoe threw each other into the boards to end the period, which is like, that was kind of a testament to this whole thing. Jesse
Zoe
and
threw down
Reagan
gloves
in
and tried to
this-
fight her, too.
Joe got gloves.
He swung.
Threw him. He swung.
He missed.
Zoe swung big. He missed big time. It was really like kind of embarrassing, but it's
Yeah.
not that big of a
That's-
deal. Go back and watch it.
Yeah, go back.
Watch it in 0.5 speed, and you see it really
yeah,
clearly.
Yeah.
Jesse and Reagan. We alluded to this earlier. Jesse and Reagan were like full on
Bodying up.
physical with each other, like pushing each other
And
around.
Reagan's no
constantly
stranger to
trying
that.
to-
Like, she looked like she had a really. I don't know how much Jesse plays hockey. I'm guessing I don't think he was like a D1 leader like she was. I'm
Right.
not sure. But
Well, she was a pro.
she was a pro too. I thought
Yeah,
she
I
was
think
just a coach.
so.
Okay. Either way, I mean, she obviously is very good at it, and she knows
She
exactly
is
how
a
to
pro, I
body
should
up
say.
people on the ice. Like she had like the stance down well, and it looks like she has very strong legs to be able to do that.
Yeah. She
So
definitely.
and
she
she's
was.
huge. She's,
did you
she's
listen to her?
towers over her.
Did you listen to her Girls and Co?
I have not gotten to it yet. I'm excited to.
So she said that she plays in a co-ed league that's like contact,
Oh, so
and she's like,
this is all tat for her then.
yeah, she's like constantly being better than the guys that are there. And like, you watch this, it's like, yeah,
yeah.
I believe it.
Yep. Playing circles around him.
But they're getting really physical in this first period, and that continues for the rest of the game. These two are not scared to go at each other at all. Then you go into the second period, right, where it's kind of the same thing. We Got Ice is kind of all over them, and then they try to call for the Pavel play when they don't have possession. And then
like 3 times.
it was like 3 times. It was crazy because this is so rude, but out of the whole game, Lovia's played the best when they were trying to prevent the Pavel play from happening for We Got Ice. And they just kept possess. Like, I'm not exaggerating. How long are the periods? 5 minutes or 4 minutes?
5 minutes.
5. So they tried to call for the Pavel play at like when there was 4 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock. They didn't get to call it until there was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Like they wasted half of the period.
Trying
with
to
just
get that
Love You
done.
saying, let's not give them
And there's also
Pavel
a
play.
couple of times where they had a free hit and they could have used it then they forgot like, oh shit,
Yeah.
and then they turned the ball over. And also not to be rude myself, we don't like to shit talk players here, but
We love it.
But Rose kind of did it for us a little bit on the broadcast that talked about how Jack has the worst save percentage of anyone. And to me, we're here to entertain, obviously, at Jumping Media. He's doing just that. But part of me feels like he definitely takes this a lot less seriously than he does any other sport that he is a part of in the warehouse.
Well,
he's there for like
yeah.
it feels like half goof, and like if the ball comes his way, he'll try and save it. But otherwise, he doesn't seem very focused.
Right. I mean, I don't know if he doesn't seem focused or if he just like he's not naturally a goalie.
Yeah,
He's
he's
just
at
big.
least that's the air he's giving off, just because he is silly and funny, and
a
sometimes
goof
that can be
man.
mistaken as like not focused. And maybe I'm sure he's between the posts, he's trying, but he's all like you said, he's also not a goalie. So I think all those things mixed together make it look like he's just being silly back there. So it's tough when you have like these 3 players on your team that look really good, and then the anchor of your team is just like wearing vampire teeth and waving this flag and tripping over himself.
Yeah, but whatever. I mean,
I loved it though. I mean, this is the hardest I've laughed at this tournament so far. In this whole episode,
Yes.
between Jack and Rose and Pavel, like Chris Rose was on another one today. I talked
Yeah,
to
he
you and
was.
our buddy Chris about it off air a bunch about how much Chris Rose has been cracking me up at this tournament in particular. He always does, but this episode of this very funny tournament of his, he was just on another level. Like I think when we were talking about the Jesse and Reagan bodying up each other. He's like, man, that's more contact than I got on my honeymoon from my wife. Yeah. It's like these stupid old man jokes that are so unnecessary and add so much color to the whole tournament.
they're
I
necessary.
really love it. I love it.
How else will we know how much action Chris got on his honeymoon?
I'm sure if we just DM'd him, he would tell us.
Christopher. Yeah, for sure. Out of everybody at John Boy Media, there's one person I'm certain will not respond to us. So they get the Pavel play. Eventually, they get the Pavel play, right?
Yeah.
And you're thinking, oh, this is not good for Lovius. Lovius does a really good job against this Pavel play for a second, and then it's just from one pro to another. Reagan rips a pass that, like, I thought was a shot at first. When I rewatched it,
see
it was
how-
so clearly a
Yes.
pass.
That was
and
the
if
nicest play of the entire tournament.
you get anybody else in this entire tournament, I don't care if it's Luke, if it's Corwin, if it's Nick from McFlurry Power, you know, like 3 guys who are, I think we can very confidently say, like 3 of the better players in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
If you get anybody who is not a pro on the end of that pass, I don't think it's going in. It was a
And Pavel
pass
made it look
from
like
one pro to
He
another.
didn't even have to look at it. He just like, there it is.
He made
Pop.
it look so easy. Did you watch the slow mo? Like when they redid it in slow mo,
Yeah.
it wasn't even like he was just standing there and it hit his stick.
I know
The
that's what it
pass
looked like
came
in
in
real time. It looks like he just like
and
accidentally
he
got it in.
moved it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he moved
He
it
just
and angled it
adjusted
in.
Yeah, it was so cool.
It was like,
He just
If-
coaxed it in perfectly.
yeah, Reagan put a pass in that she has been holding back from us because she knows that nobody else in this tournament would be able to handle it except for the other pro.
Yep.
You know,
It was
and
beautiful.
it was just.
This is why we love the Pavel
It was
play.
gorgeous. We love the Pavel play. Pavel scores. Obviously,
Second
that
Pavel
pass
goal.
from and he gives Reagan big props from it. He was like, "Yeah, that was totally her. Like that was her play."
He's like, I barely had to do anything. I had to just tap
yeah.
it in.
He just had to adjust.
Yeah.
You know, I think like honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I think somebody else who gets on the end of that's not Pavel. The force from the pass might have like even knocked the stick out of their hands because it looked crazy. Like
Or at least whiffed
Good-
on it, or like it shouldn't
or like
have been as
turned
easy.
it would have turned the stick in
Yeah.
their hands.
Yeah.
You know? Like I at the very least, if you're getting a stick on it, it's shooting right back off into Reagan's stick again.
Yeah.
It was just like anybody else. Reagan recognized like, hey, this is an opportunity to do a pro level pass and shot.
Yeah.
Let's try it out.
It looks like it was like in when you play Mario Strikers, when you get those green passes, they're like the perfect passes.
Yes.
That's what that looked like.
Yeah, everything slows down.
Yep. Yep. It's a thing of
But
beauty.
yeah, so then it goes off. We Got Ice continues to dominate, kind of keep getting shots off, all this other stuff, and then you start to see Jesse's playing further back in this like defensive role that he played in the first game, and you're seeing these moments where like Sarah is regularly like intercepting passes or taking the ball off of somebody, and she just has nobody to help her, so she gets double teamed immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And she like so rarely can she even get a shot off because now you've switched from a one defenseman, two attackers formation to one attacker, two defensemen, which
you
may
really are
work
seeing her
somewhere
being
else.
swarmed all the time.
Exactly. Like Sarah does a lot of really good things that don't necessarily translate to statistics. She's, I would say, one of the better forwards in terms of setup in the tournament because she always gets good positions. And if there's somebody up there with her, they would have done a lot better. But like they, at this point, Jesse
She's up there
dropped
by
back.
herself. Yeah.
Nikki gets a really good shot off to end the period. And as you're seeing this second period go, you're seeing Nikki's confidence grow a little bit and grow a little bit and grow a little bit. And now he's back to this bravado where you feel as the viewer, Nikki is, he's back. Nikki's going to start taking some crazy shots. You know it because Nikki's just confident again.
Yeah. So this
Then
is
you
going
go
into
into
the third periods.
Exactly.
This is the interview. That's really not an interview. It's just Nikki giving a hype speech to his entire team. And
No, that was going into the second.
it's going to the second. Okay, so
Yeah.
he already had the confidence building at that point. But that was such a funny moment of him being Nikki. So because we don't get to see much personality on the ice itself. Where
Right.
other games, it's a little bit more slowed down. You can hear people talking. So it's good to cut to these scenes where we get. I'm really glad that they do the between period interviews, even though they're exhausted. They're always out of breath. That also, of course, makes it funny. Adds to the comedy
Right.
of it. Paxton does a really good job with always poking fun at everyone that's that's exhausted. But no, I'm glad Nikki's starting to figure it out because we as Blitzball fans, we love Nikki Cass. We love Nikki Cass.
We love Blitzball. Then you go into the third, and what was it? 5 seconds into the third, We Got Ice gets a high stick call. DZ has a stick up high for a ball, and Sarah gets hers up too. And then DZ makes a whole meal out of it, saying, "Oh, well, she touched it too, and it was so high." And like the refs are going, both refs are like, "I only saw you touch it, bud."
Replays
So he goes,
to me show that Sarah touched and he didn't. That's what I saw. It didn't matter anyway because it was killed.
What do you watch it on? Do you watch it on the computer or on your phone?
I watched it on my phone.
Yeah, I
before
couldn't.
bed.
I rewound it a couple times, and I couldn't tell.
Honestly, I kind of split it up between computer, TV, and phone. I watch it almost equally, like before bed, or if I'm like I'm on the couch already, let me watch it on my big TV, or if I'm setting up for this, then I'll like just watch it right before I'm a computer.
I watched Floorball 1 on my big TV, and then this one I'm watching a lot more on my phone, just because. Now that I'm taking notes, when I watch it on the computer and like take notes on the other screen, so many times do I like forget which screen I'm clicked into, and then I'll hit something like backspace and it'll go back, and then the whole thing will start from the beginning, and I'm like, fuck me. So I just watch it on my phone.
Sometimes on TV, hoping that Nicole will get into it. Also, it's like, see, look how fun this is. Isn't this good? And she'll be like,
Isn't this good, Nick?
And then like I'll see her just like on TikTok instead.
Sure,
like,
Brendan.
right,
And then she falls asleep instantly.
Yeah.
So then, I don't know about you. We Got Ice gets DZ. Whoa. How'd you do that?
Just saw the movie last night.
Wow. Who was in it?
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Wow. The Zeets.
That's what they call it.
Well, from one CZ to his DZ, he goes into the penalty box,
Good.
and then I'm thinking to myself, what a lifeline Lovey's just got thrown here, right? Like they were out of it in my mind.
Another one of those opportunities, though. So they've had two big ones so far that they haven't capitalized. This is another one, and there's one more to come. That believe me, if they
That's
don't
scary.
capitalize on these, it's like in baseball. If the team's giving you errors and you don't bring those runs in, then
Yeah.
if you don't take advantage of these situations, you're not going to win. Especially a team
What are you
if you're
even
like the
doing?
lesser team, you know that going into this game, you have to
Brandon.
really capitalize on everything that they give you.
That's rude. They're
It's
trying their
truth.
best. They're trying
Then-
their best,
And
Brendan.
they came up with an L
L for win.
Lovius. Oh,
Oh. One of us was wrong, I think.
it's me.
I'm not sure which one
I'm
of us.
not sure.
But
this is
yeah,
where you say I'm right.
see the Brendan, you might be wrong. Got him. Reagan and Zoe killed this power play pretty effectively. I think Lovia's ended up getting 2 shots off, and
They
were
waste
both
time
from
like
Nikki.
what?
Like ice cream.
someone watch. Okay.
Like someone watching The Bachelor.
In Paradise.
Oh,
Okay.
The Bachelorette in Paradise.
Okay.
All right, very unironically, Bachelor in Paradise is one of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life.
I've heard good things about it. That's
It's
why I was going to go with
great.
one of those reality shows as a joke, and I'm like, but most people like those, and I probably would like it also, so I'm not going to make fun of it.
Everybody, first off, Brendan, everybody likes The Big Bang Theory.
Nobody does. Okay, in the comments, please.
Ask my mom. Everybody likes The Big Bang Theory.
Everybody over 55 likes Big Bang Theory.
My parents, my goodness, when I didn't live at home, which could also be now, whenever I would go home, my parents would be watching The Big Bang Theory and try to explain to me the plot of what's going on, and I would say, "Listen, I really don't care."
I've had enough. I've had enough.
I'm sitting here on the couch watching this with you to spend time with you guys. I don't care. I'm not invested.
And you
in the
won't pay
show.
attention to me.
Yeah, I do not want this.
So
I just want to be in the same room as you guys.
So that's very sweet. They killed a power play.
Oh, killed a power play, big time. Big Bang Theory, gone. They come back up in what I can only describe as the lullest lull of any game that we've seen. Reagan takes a shot that is an absolute fucking piss missile.
So you're saying like it was just like it looked like nothing was happening, and then
It
she
looked
decided
like
just like it's
all
time
of
for a
the
goal
energy.
now.
It was like all of the energy was gone. It was a very like kind of
Oh, and there she
lackadaisical
goes, just
pass
coming up the middle of the field.
from
like,
DZ.
Oh, holy shit!
Yeah, it felt like everybody was just walking.
Yeah.
DZ kind of just like pushes it off. Is like, here, Reagan, I think I'm done with this. And she just fucking tears a hole in the back of the net. like, Jesse tried to get in front of it. Dalton couldn't lift his hand up in time. It was a fucking gorgeous goal. And you're just like, oh, yeah, of course it's Reagan.
Yeah, she's like,
Why
I
would-
figured out the weight of this thing. It's actually quite light, and I can shoot it quite hard.
It's, well, now I know how to do this. And then you're starting to see this desperation from Lovia's, where, strangely enough, it seems like Nikki got his head calm at this point. Because you see Jesse. Jesse's just fucking, whenever he's touching the ball, it's gone. It's off his stick. He's shooting it.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's the right decision or not, whether he can take a step and get better, collect it a little better or not. He's just shooting it. And then Nikki's getting the ball. He's taking good shots, putting a lot of pressure on. We're seeing kind of like what we talked about last episode where we were like, ooh, Nikki should get into this lane that Drew got into where he's just sprinting everywhere,
Right.
getting aggressive, trying to get the ball. Nikki's doing that. Nikki shoots from just beyond midfield that Jack
Center ice.
like pushes his hand. No ice, Brendan.
Okay.
Pushes
plastic.
the gets his mitt up, his glove, tips off his fingers, off his head, dribbles into the goal. Lovias are back in the game.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of time left.
So, I
There's like
have more
2.5
empathy
minutes.
for Jack when I saw the replay. I did notice that I don't think the broadcast booth notices, but there was Zoe was trying to put a stick in front of it. It did ricochet off of his stick before it came to
it's an
Zach.
own goal.
Jack.
Jack.
That's their
Ah.
ship name. No, yeah. So I don't know if it's something that Jack noticed because it was very close to Nick's shot, so it might have just looked like the trajectory of the original shot. But if he did, that makes it
Right.
more difficult seeing it come from two different directions.
Right.
But that's hockey.
That's hockey,
Floorball.
baby. So, Love Yous have momentum now.
And good for Nicky too. Like he has that goal, and the broadcast booth is saying like, "Oh, I thought he was gonna be really like a lot more hyped." But this is the competitor Nicky that's like, you know what, we're still losing, so let's go
Yeah.
back to work.
Job's
Come
not
on.
done.
Job's not done.
And then I'll let you take this one. You know, they do a pretty good job of keeping momentum. Sarah steals the ball away, or she gets the ball somehow, turns free on goal, goes to take a shot, but she doesn't. Why is that, Brendan?
Because Reagan stick checks her. I don't know the exact terms for it, but
I
when
think they called it slashing.
Okay, yeah.
She hit the stick. She
was
hit
trying
Sarah's
to
stick.
shoot, and from behind she hit the stick so that she couldn't shoot the ball, which
Right.
sounds
Legal
illegal.
in
and it is
hockey.
illegal. Oh, it is illegal. Okay, they said that. You're right.
It's legal in hockey, which is, to be fair, Reagan's sport.
Right.
In floorball, it's illegal.
Right.
We've
Which
seen
seems
people
like I don't
get,
understand why it is legal
penalties.
in hockey. Like, hey, you know that thing you use to shoot? I want to go whack it out of your hands. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Why can you do that? I guess
I don't know. My question is this illegal in real floorball, or is it just illegal in warehouse floorball?
I feel like they go pretty much by the floorball rules.
I'm gonna
I want
check.
to say.
I'm gonna check.
I like the rule though. It makes sense because it seems like someone, if you're just running up to score a goal in soccer and someone decides to just grab you by your hair and pull you down,
Right.
you know?
Oh, no slashing. It says it right there. No
Yeah.
slashing. So you can't hit the stick.
I know there's no slashing in hockey either, but it might be a different definition of slashing. Or a
I
certain
think
type of
slashing slashing in hockey is like fucking hitting their leg.
Okay, gotcha.
It says it right here. Do not hit your opponent's stick. So yeah, it's not you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of nuts. So go ahead, Brendan. You could talk about the ensuing penalty shot.
So I guess it was a penalty shot because at that point she was basically in the crease. Was it the spot that gave her the penalty shot?
No, it was I think it was the fact
Just
that
the level
she
of,
had a goal scoring opportunity.
Okay, and especially because she was behind all the defense too. It was a breakaway.
Yeah.
So she gets the penalty shot. Very excited. This is the first penalty shot we've gotten besides like overtime and stuff like that.
Yep.
So this is fun. Very exciting. Maybe
Very
the
exciting.
moment maybe gets to her a little bit because she tries to deke. She misses her own deke, and then it rolls right to Jack, and he pounces on it.
Yeah.
Really
Felt
tough.
horrible.
Yeah, and she was pissed, and rightfully so. It was a big
I was
opportunity.
pissed.
It could have been a game-tying penalty shot, and she's very capable of doing that. So
I cannot
I
stress
know
this
she was so
enough.
pissed off.
I cannot stress this enough. Sarah was phenomenal the whole game. And when they got this penalty, I was sitting there like, who's going to take this? Because I don't know who the best on like penalty shot taker
I
on
always
We
forget
Got
you
Ice
do
is.
that.
And then I eventually, well, I don't know if you can do that in hockey. In hockey or in floorball, it might be different. In soccer, you could do whoever. So I didn't know what the rules were like. So I was like, if Sarah takes this, I think that's their best chance of scoring because Sarah's been a monster all game. I thought she was going to score way earlier.
Yeah.
And then you just see like she kind of tips it with the top of her stick, loses
Yeah.
control, and can't get a shot off. Jack, very quick reactions to just jump forward and get it once he sees that she doesn't have control of it anymore.
And Pavel even says too, he's like, sometimes it just happens. I don't know if
Yeah.
it was the moment that got to her or what it was. Sometimes when you feel like you should have been doing something all game long and it was just out of your reach, you want to go that extra mile to finally take hold of that opportunity that's right in front of you, and it slips away because you want it so badly. But it might have just been
Yeah.
a simple like, oh, you know what? It just slipped, and that's it.
Just slipped. Not a great idea. Just
Yeah.
slipped a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I was
yeah,
sometimes the
pros
penalty
happens
kick
to the pros.
player on my team in middle school, high school. Because when I
Wow.
was like 12, I've discovered that if you kick the ball right with your toe, it goes really far and goes in no direction that you think it's going to. So they didn't catch on to that's what I was doing yet until they're like, oh, I think I scored a couple in the beginning when I started using that tactic, and then all of a sudden they
Yeah.
started flying way the fuck over the net, and like, oh,
Yeah.
Brendan doesn't have any power with his legs. He just
And then
kicks with his fucking toe like an idiot.
yeah, your coach is like, "You're gonna break your toe. Maybe let's not
But
do
it
that."
works. It works sometimes.
It works.
I
It
would
works
never do it again.
sometimes.
It would break now.
But yeah, the game goes on, and then you see Reagan go into full pro mode, and she's like,
Oh,
"We're
so
killing
good.
this fucking clock, baby." And Reagan, I want to say combined, in the last minute and a half, Reagan killed maybe a full minute
She had
all by
possession
herself.
for like 60
She had
seconds.
possession. There was one point she was in the corner, and I
Just like
think it was
dribbling back and forth
Nikki.
with herself. There's
She was
two
just
people on her
having
all.
Nikki
Yeah.
like go in the spin cycle, and
Yeah.
then later on it was Jesse and Sarah were in there, and like
then
when
she
Nikki
eventually
was
just
in there,
clears
the only reason Nikki got out of that situation is because he fouled her on purpose
Yeah.
to get her to like try and go forward. And then the same thing with when Jesse and Sarah were in there. I believe Jesse like picked up her stick with his stick, and they
Yep.
were like, "That's a foul." And then she, dumped it out. Dalton stands up. He's playing. There's an empty net. Reagan gets it behind the goal, tries to score, misses. Game over.
Yep.
We got ice wins 2-1.
We got nice wins. They hold on. That they looked really good again, and
They look so good.
I'm glad that the team that was playing really well was able to hold off against the other team.
Right.
It was like this is the kind of game that Baggage needs to have when they play really well to finish off with a win.
Yeah. I'd say the only weak point for We Got Ice is DZ still seems a little bit unsure of the best way to play floorball. You could tell he's very much a hockey guy. Like there were a couple times where he was in the attacking half and he like went to pass the ball along the boards so it would roll around to the other side, which is something like a puck would do.
Right.
But the ball just like hits the wall and bounces
Doesn't
out.
quite work that way. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of a physics thing, and he just needs to adjust a little more. But that's the only thing, because Zoe is phenomenal. Reagan is, I have no idea how it's illegal for her to be there. She's so good.
Yeah. She's like her own paddle play in a way.
Exactly. And, Jack is Jack. Jack is,
You worry about him a little bit with
know.
like the teams that have really good shooters in their team.
yep.
But we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Reagan versus Jesse, like we've said, amazing matchup. Their physicality with each other is something that this tournament's kind of been missing. It kind of feels like, I don't know if you've ever had this experience, but like when I joined this soccer league last year, I was very timid to play physically because I'm like, I don't want to be the fucking asshole who shows up at the 30 and over soccer league, like pushing
Just
people
shouldering
around.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually, like, you kind of get over it because it's like, oh, everybody else is doing it.
Everyone's playing like
Just
how you
don't-
play soccer, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, just don't be too aggressive, and you'll be fine.
Right.
And it kind of feels like this was the game
Where people
where
maybe
it
start
kind
to
of
open
clicked
up.
with the players, like, oh, we're allowed to like push
Oh,
a
we can
little
play
bit just so
hard.
long
Yeah.
as
As long as it's not dangerous.
So I'm excited to see more of that going
yeah,
forward.
We'll see how it translates.
How does it translate? Put it into Google.
No hablo.
And whoa,
It works.
how'd you do that?
I just put it into Google.
Oh, player of the game.
Player of the game.
Were you ready for that? I'm sorry.
I didn't know my fader was all the way down on low. So,
I'm,
no one will ever know though. And
nobody will ever know.
No one will ever know.
But like, you didn't have any more to say about the.
No, I only have 10 minutes to go too. So
All right, cool.
That's-
Brendan has player of the game.
player of the game. It's Reagan. We've talked about her all day.
Reagan Rust.
She's really good. We knew she was going to be great. This is her breakout game. I think we're going to see even higher heights from her. To bring it even more back to Mario Strikers, her second goal made it. It looked like when Mario has his power up and shoots like a fireball through the net. That's what she had going on. So she had the green pass, and she had the Fireball Super Strike. So
Yep. And that's not even to mention the fact that she was so good defensively, getting steals and getting in front of like every shot that Lovius took. The whole time waste thing that we just talked about. She was really good on the ball. By far the best player on the, like I said, the Pavel goal, you could almost attribute it entirely to Reagan. That goal doesn't happen without that pass. If that pass comes in slower, we got ice.
yeah, someone gets in front of it.
Adjusts more. Even somebody could just stick their stick out and stop the pass
If they
it comes
see
any
it,
slower.
yeah, exactly.
So Reagan absolutely deserves it. She seems like she's on her way. If We Got Ice wins, if We Got Ice makes it to the final, Reagan has to be MVP.
Yeah, that's the way. That's
Has
their
to be.
path to victory. I think they have these holes on the team we've been talking about, but they can
Yeah.
be covered up by someone like Reagan who can carry a team seemingly.
Yep, 100%. Play of the game.
Play the game.
And it's just that.
Wow.
It's the Pavel play goal
It was awesome.
entirely because of Reagan's pass. I don't think I've ever seen a better pass in my life. It was perfect.
Yeah, my favorite play of the tournament so far.
It was so.
I
It
also
was
love.
so
I get
cool.
so hyped for. I get as hyped as Rose does for Pavel plays, and I was worried that he was not going to score a lot more goals. So I'm glad he now has 2 on the board. That made me so hyped in general. Plus
Yeah.
the fact that it was this beautiful, beautiful, crispy pass.
It was so good. Like Reagan's goal, her own goal. It kind of felt like the goal wasn't going to happen in the Pavel play.
Yeah.
And then it's just like this one moment of magic where where Reagan gets
That is what she
this
practiced. She is a
beautiful
big.
pass.
Yeah.
Don't, Brendan, stop that. we don't spread lies. It might not be a
Yes,
lie,
we do
but we
all the
don't.
time.
That's true. Liar pod.
Just ask Dalton.
She gets this perfect pass out of nowhere, because it really felt as though like Lovias were doing a great job defending this Pavel play. She puts off a perfect pass, undefendable pass. Pavel puts out an undefendable shot, and that was it. That goal changed the game.
The Pavel play makes me feel like every tournament of theirs needs some version of this video game style power play, power up of some
Yeah.
sort. Like even like
Yeah.
they talked about it in Blitzball. We've talked about it with other people about like using like the Mike Piazza power bat from 2000, like something absurd.
The vortex.
Yeah, or I don't know, like somebody like I know Peter Mullen's not like, adept at throwing blitz balls, but like if he was amazing at it, like he gets to come out and throw an at bat or something like that,
Yeah.
something weird. But I love it. This is the best thing they've thought of as far as adding to a normal game,
Yep.
in my opinion.
100%. It's been fantastic. It has been fantastic. Have Darren Sammy bat and over.
Yeah, something that'd be so fun. I love that
Yeah.
they're getting these guys involved in this way.
It's been incredible. It really has been incredible. And that's been our coverage. The last game of what's it called? Round Robin is next. Hookline versus McFlurry.
Yeah,
I think you and I have pretty similar feelings on who's probably going to win this game.
yeah. Well, I think this
I
is going to be a
think-
test to see if McFlurry is the powerhouse we think they are.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how Hookline is going to play after it seems as though they put it together in that third period against Baggage. So I'm very excited to see
Yeah.
how they play for that.
And if the timeline is playing out the way it did in real life, if all this off time got them a little bit soft, and if they're going to be like, oh, that was fun, like a few days ago, and now let's play our
Right.
second game. So who knows how
Right.
that's going to go.
So I have McFlurry Power winning 4-1.
Oh, okay. I like the prediction. Ooh,
Sorry,
high scoring
Drew.
game. Let's go even higher. Let's go 5-0.
Whoa. Say
Complete
sorry to
wipeout.
Drew.
Sorry, Drew. Prove us wrong.
Sorry, Drew.
Prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong, Drew. This is a little bit of bulletin board material for you a couple months ago.
Yep.
Brendan,
I know what that means.
what should people be drinking?
Subtlety, it's delicious. You know where to find it on the website. If you're not a fool, you can probably find that and order it to your doorstep. With called Happy Boys, which is my other podcast. We talk about beer. My other podcast is The Lonely Boys. I'm going to record that in a few minutes. We're gonna. Oh no, I'm talking about the Sandy Boys today. That's the OC. I hope I watched the right episode.
see.
OC
Oh,
Boys,
no.
Sandy Boys. Because the main character's dad's name is Sandy, so I don't know why we named the show off of the main character's dad, but he's funny.
Lots of sand.
Listen to all that. I mean, they're in Newport Beach, so there's lots of sand.
Rhode Island.
Yeah, other one.
Oh, California.
Yeah.
Of course.
So I got nothing else. Peter, do you have anything else you need to talk to me
I
about?
do. Watch us on YouTube. Blitzball Boys.
That's why we asked the
from
question,
Boys
because sometimes
Media.
there is something else we need to say.
Sometimes there is more.
we
Also,
forgot.
be nice to Matthew Del Rey. He's a good guy. I love him. He's at the Giants games all the time. If you see him, give him a high five. Bobby Skinner wants to punch him. Other than that, nope. Bye.
Bye.